August 6th, 2019. A young Nigerian man steps off a plane in America wearing a Tom Ford suit, carrying fake business documents, thinking he's untouchable. 6 FBI agents are waiting for him. This is how his empire fell. And more importantly, this is why it had to fall. His name is Chukwudi. He was born in Aba. You know Aba, that place where traders can sell you anything, where hustle is in the water we drink, where even a baby in the womb is already planning their first business. His father died when he was 7. Malaria. The kind that takes you in 3 days because there's no money for the good hospital. His mother, Mama Chukwudi. Hey, let me tell you about this woman. She sold vegetables in Ariaria market, tomatoes, pepper, onions. You know how those market women wake up at 4 a.m., bath in cold water and tie their wrapper tight because the day ahead is long? That was her every single day. But this woman had fire in her belly. She would tell young Chukwudi, "My son, your mates are roaming the streets, joining cult groups, smoking the Igbo, but you will be different. You will go to school. You will make something of yourself." And Chukwudi was brilliant too, sharp like a newly forged cutlass. Mathematics, he would solve problems that made his teachers scratch their heads. Computer science, he understood it like he had built the machine himself. By the time he finished secondary school, he had won 3 national competitions. The village celebrated. "This boy will be our engineer," they said. "He will work for Shell," they said. "He will build us boreholes." If only they knew what was brewing in that brilliant mind. Chukwudi got admission to study computer science at the University of Lagos. Mama Chukwudi sold her late husband's land to pay the fees. Yes, the only land they had. Some of you are reading this on your iPhone 15 that your parents bought. Chukwudi's mother sold her future to give him a chance. In university, Chukwudi discovered something. There were 2 types of students: those who studied hard and struggled, and those who wore designers, drove cars, and seemed to have money flowing like tap water. One day, his roommate, let's call him Emeka, showed him something on the laptop. "Chukwu, see this thing. The Americans, they are very careless with their emails. You send them one correct-looking message, they click, and boom, you can enter their system." "That's fraud now," Chukwudi said. Emeka laughed. "Fraud? My brother, na smart business. These white people stole from Africa for 400 years. We are just collecting interest." And that sentence, my people, that sentence was the serpent in the garden, the poison in the wine, the crack in the wall that would eventually bring down the whole house. Chukwudi didn't join immediately. No. He was still a good boy. He still called his mother on Sunday. He still went to fellowship. But the seed had been planted. In his final year, Mama Chukwudi fell sick. Kidney problems. The doctor said she needed 2 million naira for treatment. 2 million naira. Where would a vegetable seller find such money? Chukwudi looked at his account, 47,000 naira. Emeka's account, 4.7 million naira. That night, he made the choice that would destroy his life. "Emeka, teach me." Within 6 months, Chukwudi had made his first million. He paid for his mother's surgery. He rented a small office in Ikeja. He bought 3 laptops and hired 2 boys who were as smart and as hungry as he was. But here's what you need to understand. Chukwudi wasn't just a Yahoo boy. No. He was too smart for that. He registered real companies. Invictus Holdings Limited, Invictus Capital, Invictus Consulting. On paper, these companies provided technology consulting services and import-export solutions. In reality, they were the cover for one of the most sophisticated cyber fraud operations Nigeria had ever seen. They didn't target poor people. Chukwudi had principles, you see. Twisted principles, but principles. They targeted big companies. American companies, European companies, companies that had insurance, companies that wouldn't miss a few $1,000,000. Well, like Robin Hood, he would tell his team, even though he kept all the money and gave nothing to the poor. By 2016, Invictus Holdings was making $3 million a year. Chukwudi moved his mother from Aba to a 4-bedroom house in Lekki Phase 1. He bought her a small car, a Toyota, nothing flashy, because Mama Chukwudi would have beaten him with her slipper if he bought her a Benz. And then the thing that would change everything happened. Forbes Africa came calling. Imagine this, you're 28 years old, you're on the cover of Forbes magazine, 30 under 30, Africa's rising stars. Your face is everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. People are writing think pieces about you. Young Nigerian entrepreneur defies odds. From Aba to Forbes, the Chukwudi story. Universities invited him to speak. Tell us your secrets, they would ask. He would smile that humble smile and say, hard work, faith in God, and never giving up on your dreams. If only they knew the secret was phishing emails and stolen passwords. But the Forbes cover did something more dangerous than fame. It brought her into his life. Zainab. She was at a tech conference in Lagos where Chukwudi was speaking. Tall, elegant, wearing a white blazer and gold jewelry that wasn't fake. She asked him a question during the Q&A. Mr. Chukwudi, how do you ensure ethical practices in your rapid growth? The irony. Oh, the ancestors must have been laughing. After the event, they talked and talked and talked some more. Zainab was everything Chukwudi never knew he wanted. She was educated, master's degree from London. She spoke 3 languages. Her father was a retired major general. She didn't need his money. Her family had their own. For the first time in his life, Chukwudi felt like he had to be worthy of something beyond wealth. They dated for 6 months. Chukwudi hid his real business from her completely. She believed he ran legitimate tech companies. Why wouldn't she? He had offices, employees, government contracts, fake, but who was checking? When he proposed, he did it right, on a beach in Mauritius. Knee down, ring out, waves crashing. Very Nollywood. They married in December 2017. The wedding cost 45 million naira. Yes, 45 million naira. 300 guests, Tiwa Savage performed. The cake had 7 tiers. Even the small gifts for guests were iPads. Zainab's father, the retired general, pulled Chukwudi aside during the reception. Young man, I've seen many types of money in my life. Clean money and dirty money. I'm watching you. Chukwudi laughed it off. Sir, God has blessed me. God doesn't bless fraud, the general said, and walked away. But Chukwudi was too high on success to hear the warning. They moved into a mansion in Banana Island. Yes, Banana Island, where billionaires live. 6 bedrooms, swimming pool, cinema room, wine cellar. Zainab decorated it beautifully, imported furniture, African art on the walls, fresh flowers every week. Within 2 years, the children came. First, a son, Chukwudi Jr. Then, twin girls, Adaze and Amara. Chukwudi would post pictures on Instagram. #BlessedDad, #FamilyFirst, #GodIsGood. 10,000 likes, comments, goals. This is what we're praying for. King. But behind the Instagram posts, cracks were forming.
Zainab was smart, too smart. She started noticing things. Chukudi, why do you lock yourself in the study every night? Work, baby. International clients, time difference. Why do strange men come to the house at odd hours? Business associates, you know how it is. Why do packages arrive from countries we've never visited? Samples from suppliers. Baby, you're worrying too much. But Zainab wasn't worrying. She was watching. She started going through bank statements when he slept. She noticed that the companies he claimed to work with, when she Googled them, had addresses that didn't exist, phone numbers that didn't work. One night, she found a second phone hidden in his drawer. She tried to unlock it, but it needed a password. She confronted him. Chukudi, I'm not a fool. What are you really doing? And here's where we see who Chukudi had become. The boy who loved his mother, who used to pray every morning, he was gone. This new Chukudi looked at his wife with cold eyes and said, Zainab, you live in Banana Island. Your car costs 35 million naira. Your children go to the best schools in Nigeria. Your wardrobe is full of clothes you've never even worn. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. She stood there, stunned. Then she said something that should have woken him up. I didn't marry you for Banana Island. I married you because I thought you were a good man. He should have listened. He should have stopped everything right there. But greed is like alcohol. Once you're drunk, you can't see straight anymore.
In 2018, Chukwudi's team pulled off their biggest operation yet. They hacked into the email system of a manager at Unitrack Holding Limited, the company that sells Caterpillar's heavy machinery. You know those big yellow bulldozers and excavators? That company. But they didn't just hack and run. Oh no, Chukwudi's team was sophisticated. They spent 3 months studying this manager. They read every email he sent. They learned his writing style, his schedule, when he went on vacation, which suppliers he trusted. Then, when the time was right, they created a fetch email, perfectly designed to look like it came from the manager himself. They sent it to the finance department requesting an urgent wire transfer of $10.8 million to a new supplier account for an emergency equipment order. The finance department, seeing the email came from their manager's address, approved it. $10.8 million transferred to an account in Malaysia, then split and moved to accounts in Dubai, Hong Kong, and finally, Nigeria. Chukwudi's cut? $4.2 million. When the money hit his account, he and his team celebrated like they had won the World Cup. Champagne, club, bottles, girls, the whole Lagos big boy package. Emeka said, "Guy, we're untouchable, we're ghosts." Chukwudi raised his glass to being smarter than everyone else. But you see, my people, there's a proverb. The chicken that dances on the road does not know that the hawk is watching from the tree. And the hawk, the American FBI, they were watching. Oh, they were watching very carefully.
While Chukwudi was buying his third Range Rover, agents in the FBI Cybercrime Division in Virginia were tracking every single transaction. They had been watching him since 2017. They knew about Invictus Holdings. They knew about the fake companies. They had evidence of phishing attacks going back 3 years. They were just waiting for the right moment. In Nigeria, Chukwudi's life looked perfect. His son was 4 now, starting to talk. The twins were 2, chubby and beautiful. Zainab had quit her job to focus on the children, though she was increasingly unhappy. Mama Chukwudi, now living comfortably, would sometimes visit and tell him, "Chukwu, I pray for you every day. I pray that whatever you are doing, it's clean." Mama, don't worry. Everything is legitimate. My son, I didn't suffer to raise a thief. Mama, how can you say that? But mothers know. Mothers always know. In August 2019, Chukwudi got an invitation to speak at a tech conference in Virginia, USA. It seemed legitimate. A real conference, real organizers, even offered to pay for his flight and hotel. Zainab said, "Don't go." Why not? It's a great opportunity. She had a bad feeling. Zainab, you've been watching too many movies. She grabbed his hand. Chukwu, if there's something you need to tell me now. Whatever it is, we can fix it together. For a moment, just one moment, he almost told her everything, almost confessed, almost chose his family over his pride. But he said, "There's nothing to tell. I'll be back in 5 days." She let go of his hand. Later, she would tell people that she felt his hand slip away like sand through fingers, like she was losing him already. August 6, 2019, Dulles International Airport, Virginia. Chukwudi walked out to the plane feeling confident. He had his fake documents ready, brochures about Invictus Holdings, business cards and testimonials from clients. He was wearing a Tom Ford suit. His cologne was expensive. He looked every inch the successful African entrepreneur. He got through immigration smoothly, collected his bag, walked toward the exit, and that's when he saw them. 6 men in dark suits, FBI badges clipped to their belts. His stomach dropped. Chukwudi Namdi? He thought about running. For half a second, he actually thought about running. But where? This wasn't Lagos where you could disappear into traffic. This was America. Yes? FBI, you are under arrest for wire fraud, conspiracy to commit computer fraud, and identity theft. You have the right to remain silent. The words sounded far away, like he was underwater. He saw other passengers staring, saw someone recording on their phone, saw his whole life collapsing in real time. They put handcuffs on him, real handcuffs. The metal was cold against his wrist. As they led him away, all he could think was, Zainab was right. Zainab was right. Zainab was right. They allowed him one phone call from the detention center. He called Zainab. It was 3 a.m. in Nigeria. She answered immediately, voice panicked. Chukwu, what's wrong? He couldn't speak. His throat was closed. Chukwu, talk to me. I've been arrested. Silence. Long, terrible silence. For what? They're saying fraud. Wire fraud. More silence. Then, is it true? Zainab, is it true? Yes. He heard her breath catch. Then he heard something worse. He heard her crying. Not loud crying, quiet, broken crying. The kind of crying that comes from deep betrayal. How much? She asked. How much what? How much did you steal, Chukwudi? It wasn't stealing, it was how much? Over the years, maybe $11 million. He heard something crash. She had thrown the phone. He heard her screaming in the background, heard his mother's voice, Zainab, what's wrong? Heard the twins crying because their mother was crying. Then Zainab picked up the phone again. My father was right about you. I defended you. I told him you were different. I told him you were a good man. Her voice was ice. Do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've done to our children? Zainab, please. Your son asked me yesterday if you were a superhero because people talk about you at school. What do I tell him now, Chukwudi? What do I tell him now? The line went dead. He tried calling back 17 times.
She didn't answer. That was the last time they spoke for 8 months. The evidence against Chukwudi was overwhelming. The FBI had everything: emails, wire transfers, IP addresses, fake company documents, testimonies from victims, and communications between him and his co-conspirators. His lawyer, expensive, white, supposedly the best, told him the truth in their first meeting. Mr. Namdi, you are looking at 20 years minimum unless you cooperate. Cooperate how? Give them names, your team in Nigeria, your money handlers, everyone involved. Chukwudi thought about Emeka, about the boys who worked for him, about the people who trusted him. Then he thought about his children growing up without a father. He gave them everything. In Nigeria, EFCC raided Invictus Holdings. They froze all his accounts. They seized his properties, the Banana Island house, his mother's house in Lekki, though they eventually returned it, the cars, everything. His face was all over the news. Forbes poster boy arrested for $11 million fraud. Zainab's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Friends, family, journalists. Her father came to take her and the children to his house in Abuja. The shame was too much in Lagos. I told you so, the general said, not unkindly. I told you that money was dirty. In prison, waiting for trial, Chukwudi had a lot of time to think. He thought about the first time he hacked someone's email. How easy it was. How he justified it. How one compromise led to another until he couldn't even recognize himself anymore. He thought about his father, who died honest and poor. He thought about his mother, who worked herself to the bone to give him a chance. He thought about Zainab, who loved him when he was nobody, who didn't need his money. He thought about his children, who would grow up knowing their father was a criminal. The trial lasted 3 months. The prosecutor called him a menace to society and a sophisticated con artist who used his intelligence to prey on hard-working Americans. His lawyer argued that he was a product of Nigerian poverty and made desperate choices to help his sick mother. The judge, a black woman named Honorable Patricia Henderson, listened to everything. Then she spoke. Mr. Namdi, I've read your story. I know you grew up poor. I know your father died when you were young. I know your mother sold everything to educate you. These facts make your crimes even more tragic, not less serious. You were given a brilliant mind and you used it to steal. You are given opportunities and you abused them. You could have been a role model. Instead, you became a cautionary tale. She paused, looked him in the eye. 10 years in federal prison. His mother, who had traveled to America for the sentencing, collapsed in the courtroom. FCI Petersburg Medium Security Prison, Virginia. That's where they sent him. Prison is not like Nollywood movies. It's worse. It's boring and terrifying at the same time. Every day is the same. Wake up at 6 a.m., breakfast, if you can call it that, work detail or classes, lunch, recreation, dinner. Lights out at 10 p.m. Repeat. For 10 years. Chukwudi learned things in prison. He learned that some men are there because of poverty, some because of addiction, and some, like him, because of greed. He learned that being smart doesn't mean being wise. He joined the prison education program and started teaching other inmates computer skills, legal ones this time. Ironic, isn't it? He wrote letters, so many letters, to his mother, who replied every week, to Zainab, who replied 3 times in 2 years, then stopped, to his children, who couldn't read most of them because they were too young. One letter to Zainab said, "I destroyed us because I wanted to be impressive instead of honest. I wanted people to say, 'Look at Chukwudi, from nothing to everything.' But I took shortcuts. And shortcuts, I've learned, are just long, painful roads to nowhere. I'm sorry. I know sorry isn't enough. It will never be enough. But I'm sorry." She never replied to that one. In 2021, Zainab filed for divorce. Irreconcilable differences. She married a doctor in 2023, a quiet man who loves her children like his own. Chukwudi signed the papers without fighting. What could he say? His son, Chukwudi Jr., changed his name when he turned 7. Now he goes by David, his middle name. The twins don't remember their father. When they see his picture, they ask, "Who is that man?" Zainab tells them, "Someone who made bad choices."
In 2023, Mama Chukwudi made one last trip to America to see her son. She was 72 now, walking with a cane, her back bent from years of carrying loads at the market. They sat across from each other in the visiting room, a glass barrier between them, talking through phones like strangers. "You look thin," she said. "The food here is not like your jollof rice, Mama." She didn't smile. "I'm dying, Chuku." His heart stopped. "What?" "Cancer. The doctor said I have maybe 6 months." "Chuku, no, you'll be fine. I won't see you come home. I won't see you free." He put his hand against the glass. She put hers against it from the other side. "Mama, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. I wanted to give you everything. You gave me shame instead." The words hit him like bullets. She continued, tears running down her wrinkled face. "I didn't need Lekki. I didn't need a car. I needed a son I could be proud of. I needed to say his name without people whispering. That's what I needed." "I failed you." "Yes, you did." They sat in silence for a long time. Then she said, "But you're still my son, and I still pray for you every day. I pray that when you come out of here, you'll be the man I raised, not the man you became." She left that day. He watched her walk away slowly, the cane tapping on the floor. She died 4 months later. They didn't let him attend the funeral. Security risk, they said. So he sat in his cell while his mother was buried in Aba, in the same ground as his father. He wasn't there to carry her coffin, wasn't there to throw sand on her grave, wasn't there when they sang her favorite hymn. That night he cried like he had never cried before, the kind of crying that comes from the depths of your soul. Today, as I tell you this story, Chukwudi is still in prison. He has served 5 years, 5 more to go. He's 38 now. By the time he comes out, he'll be 43. His children will be grown. His son will be 15. The twins will be 12. They won't know him. He works in the prison library now. He helps other inmates write letters to their families,
fill out forms, prepare for their release. He's become a mentor of sorts, teaching young men who come in for cybercrime the same lessons he learned too late. Use your brain for good, he tells them. I was on Forbes magazine. I had millions of dollars. I had a beautiful family. And now, I have nothing but regrets and a prison number. Some of them listen. Many don't. But he keeps trying, because what else can he do? He keeps a picture in his cell. It's from his wedding day. Him and Zainab, laughing, happy, full of hope. He looks at it sometimes and wonders, what if? What if he had been content with honest money? What if he had listened to Zainab's warnings? What if he had remembered his mother's sacrifices? What if, what if, what if? But what if is the saddest phrase in any language. The story is finished. But your story is still being written. Write it well. Write it honestly. Write it so that when you're old and gray, you can tell it to your grandchildren without shame. Oh, and one more thing. If you learnt anything from this story, subscribe to this channel. Share the story too. Don't let Chukwudi's fall be meaningless. Let it save someone else from making the same mistakes. Now go. Sleep well. Dream of the life you want to build. Then wake up tomorrow and build it the right way.